Welcome back to 6-Gun Guitars. We're on the 16-inch Dreadnought again, and we're starting to do the neck. Now, I've already cut my piece. This is a piece that's 3 inches wide, and it's about 48, 47 inches long, somewhere right around there. Actually, I'm sorry, it's around 38 inches long. But, like I said, 38 inches long, 3 inches wide. I've got it cut out, and what I did, we're going to do a stacked neck on this. So, in order to do a stacked neck, which is a really good way to save wood, what I do is I mark off the location about 6 inches in for one piece that I'm going to move back on the bottom to reinforce my headstock, so that way I can cut the back angle on the headstock on. And then I measure 21 inches across here to give me enough to put a fretboard on there and a little bit of wiggle room. And then I measure 2 3-inch blocks on the bottom, and each of those becomes stacked on the bottom to form the heel. So you can take one long skinny piece of board and you can make a stacked neck out of it, which again, really economical use of the wood. When you do it right and you keep them all in line the same way that you got them out of the board, it's easy. You can still tell that it's a stacked neck, but it's really, really hard to tell. I mean, you can't really see it from across the street, so to speak. You kind of have to go up and inspect it. But anyway, I marked my lines on here. Again, 6 inches, 21 inches, and then a couple of 3-inch blocks on the bottom. And the only reason I'm doing 2 blocks instead of 3 is this is actually a full 1-inch thick piece of board. This is the first 4/4 board I've had in a while that's actually been a full inch, which is nice. So again, I'm going to cut these guys out, and we'll bring you over to the bench and show you what those look like stacked up. Then we can start gluing them and get the neck set and ready to go so we can start working on it. So here's what my board looks like again now that we've made all the cuts. The headpiece comes off here, and that's actually going to mount beneath. And that's going to give me a little bit more angle, so that way when I cut out my headstock I can come back on an angle and do that. And these guys are going to mount underneath like this, so that we've got a little bit more room on the bottom side to go ahead and make my heel. Now my total length on my guitar at the top is a little under 4 inches. So this is going to give me 3 inches, and I'll be able to put a nice stacked heel cap like I normally do on there, which takes up about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, sometimes a little bit more. I like to layer a couple of different pieces of wood together. I like the way that looks, so I do a really big heel cap on that. But anyway, when we start gluing up, this is kind of what it's going to wind up looking like. And again, we'll be able to plot everything out on the top and go ahead and start marking the things that we need to mark in order to get the neck shape and everything like that, and I'll show you how to do that. It's helpful to have just a blank fretboard kind of hanging out that you can put on there, because I know where my 14th fret is on here. I've got it marked, and that's where my joint is. So I can kind of line it up, and theoretically it could be right about there. Would be kind of good, and I'll be able to start my angles down and everything like that, and do those cuts. But for now, what we're going to do is go ahead and apply glue to all these surfaces, in between all the blocks as well, and get everything nice and squared off and get it glued up and clamped really well, because you can't do anything with this until the glue dries. So again, this is one piece of wood. It's 3 inches wide. It's about 38 inches long, I think, right around there. And realistically, we only used, 21 plus 6 is 27. 27 plus 6 is 33. So we really only used 33 inches of wood here. So again, 33 by 3. Cut them in a couple 3-inch blocks, a 21-inch, and stack that guy just like that, and stack this one just like this. And again, I kept these last guys in order. So that's the way they came out of the wood, meaning this is the way you want to stack them. So that way you keep everything as close to being the same grain orientation as possible. That way it looks the most deceiving, I guess you could say, when it's all glued together. It actually will still look a lot closer to one piece than if you were to stack them kind of any way you want. But that's it, and what I'm going to do is come back with some glue now and get this all glued up. Now this is my back piece here that's going to go on the back of the neck, and again, this is just for the headstock, so that way I can get a good, nice deep angle out of it, and have a good break angle on the back, so when the strings attach up here to the nut, they come back down really good, and that way we get a good break angle, and there's plenty of wood back here in order for me to cut out a headstock shape. So again, I've got that on here, and it's just sitting free right now. I'm going to get all the crumbs off of it. Lay that on there, and all I'm going to do is open it up like that, and again, kind of blow off any of the gunk that's on here. and come along with a little bit of glue on both sides. It's important to coat both sides when you're putting this stuff together, just so that way you know you have 100% glue coverage. Because once you start carving this thing, if you wind up hitting a pocket, it's not going to be very good for you. Because you're going to wind up seeing it, and then you're going to wind up having to fill it. And it's just not going to be nearly as nice as if you have full coverage here. If you have a nicer glue spreader than your finger, use it. But I don't, so I am going to be running with the finger here. Okay, so we get all that covered up. Got full coverage on both sides, don't have any random bits of sawdust or anything like that on here, so it's good. Alright, I'm going to take the piece, put it on, and I'm going to give it a little, move it around like this a little bit, to kind of make sure we got full coverage on it again. And then the first thing I'm going to do, because this thing likes to slide, is I'm going to come and I'm going to clamp it in from the sides like this, so that we can't go side to side. Then clamp it in from the side up here. Okay, so in nice and tight. And what this is also going to help do is when we start putting on the other clamps, it's going to keep it from moving around even this way too, just because of that added pressure. So do one clamp here. Get another one on here. And again, the whole trick with clamping is get them on there just enough that they're holding, but don't apply the full pressure of the clamp yet until you get everybody on. And once you get everybody on, then you can start applying that pressure, and that little pressure from each one of the other clamps is going to keep these guys from moving around. So here we go, another one in the middle. The rule of thumb with clamps is you can never have too many and you can never use too many. So go as many as you can and get them all on there. Okay, so I've got this on, got it set. These guys are keeping it from going left to right. It hasn't shifted the other way. So I'm going to go ahead and start torquing these guys down. So really get those nice and good. Again, you want good hard pressure. You don't want to squeeze out all the glue, but you want to squeeze out some of it, because that's how you know you're getting a really good match between the two sides. So that looks good. And what I'm going to go ahead and do now is start loading these guys on here. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go ahead and glue both surfaces here and here, put them on, both surfaces here and here, put it on. Then we'll come by with some side clamps to hold these guys together, and put a couple clamps on the face, and that's going to hold it together. Like I said, my videos run a little bit long, so I'm not going to do that. Like I said, just apply the glue, put it on, apply it, put it on, and then come back with a couple of clamps and pinch your sides here so it doesn't go anywhere. And then just go ahead and start putting clamps on the top. I would probably do 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. You know, 2 of them grabbing in from this way, and 2 of them grabbing in from this way. Just that we have nice even pressure. Clamp the living daylights out of it, let the glue squeeze out. And I would give this thing overnight to dry, just because you're going to be putting a lot of stress on these joints. Titebond says it's good to play with in about an hour, but it says you don't want to stress for 24 hours, and I definitely follow that when it comes to the necks and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this up on my own, and once this dries, we'll continue working on it, and that'll be in a later video. If you have any questions about how to make a stacked neck blank, just shoot me an email, 6gunguitars@gmail.com, and I'd be glad to help you out.